Here is a detailed breakdown of Islam's stance on loans and debts. 1. The permissibility and encouragement of Qard al-Hasan, the goodly loan. The ideal form of lending in Islam is known as Qard al-Hasan. This is a benevolent, interest-free loan given to someone in need. A highly virtuous act, the Quran strongly encourages this practice. Who is it that will give Allah a goodly loan so that he may multiply it for him many times over? Quran 2:245. This metaphorical language means that spending in this way for the sake of God brings immense spiritual reward. A form of charity, sadaqah, lending money without interest to help someone is considered a form of charity, sometimes even better than charity because it preserves the dignity of the recipient who intends to pay it back. 2. The absolute prohibition of riba, interest. What is riba? Riba means excess, increase, or usury. It refers to any guaranteed, predetermined interest charged on a loan. Both the giving and taking of interest are strictly forbidden, haram. Those who consume interest will stand on Judgment Day like those driven to madness by Satan's touch. That is because they say, trade is no different from interest. But Allah has permitted trade and forbidden interest. Quran 2:275. Riba is considered exploitative and unjust. It creates wealth without productive effort and places an unfair burden on the borrower, especially if they're already in a difficult situation. It fosters inequality and resentment in society instead of cooperation and compassion. 3. The obligation to repay debts and its seriousness. Islam places a very strong emphasis on the repayment of debts. A right of another person, debt is not just a financial matter, it is the right of another human being, haq al-ibad. These rights must be settled before the Day of Judgment. The soul is held pledge. The Prophet Muhammad said, the soul of a deceased believer remains pending until his debt is paid. Sunan al-Tirmidhi. This hadith highlights the gravity of debt in the afterlife. Martyrs' sins forgiven, except debt. In another powerful narration, the Prophet stated that a martyr is forgiven all sins except debt. This shows that even the highest spiritual status does not absolve one from their financial obligations to others. 4. Rights and responsibilities. For the debtor, the one in debt. Sincere intention to repay. One should only take a loan if they have a genuine intention and a realistic plan to repay it. Timely repayment. It is obligatory to repay the debt as soon as possible and according to the agreed upon terms. Written agreement. Islam recommends documenting a debt, especially for larger amounts or longer terms, to avoid future disputes or forgetfulness. Quran 2:282. Communication. If a debtor is facing genuine hardship and cannot repay on time, they should communicate this to the lender rather than avoiding them. For the lender, the creditor, no interest. The loan must be free from any form of interest. Compassion and flexibility. The lender is strongly encouraged to be lenient and patient with a debtor who is facing genuine hardship. The Quran praises this. And if someone is in hardship, then let there be a postponement until our time of ease. But if you forgive it as charity, that is better for you, if only you knew. Quran 2:280. Respect and privacy. A lender should not harass or publicly shame the debtor. 5. Resolving genuine inability to repay. If a debtor is truly unable to repay due to poverty or misfortune, Islam provides compassionate solutions. Postponement. The lender should grant them more time until their situation improves. Debt forgiveness. Forgiving the debt, either in part or in full, is considered an act of immense charity and is highly praised. The Prophet said, Whoever gives respite to someone who is in difficulty or forgives him, Allah will shelter him in the shade of his throne. Sahih Muslim. 6. Modern Islamic finance alternatives. To function in a modern economy without dealing with interest, Islamic finance has developed Sharia-compliant alternatives for personal and business financing. Murabaha, cost plus sale. Instead of giving a loan to buy a car, the bank buys the car and sells it to you at a higher, agreed-upon price, payable in installments. The profit margin is transparent and fixed, not interest accruing over time. Musharakah, partnership. For a business loan, the bank and the client enter into a partnership where both invest capital and share in the profits and losses according to a pre-agreed ratio. This is seen as a fairer risk-sharing model. Ijara, leasing. The bank buys an asset, like a house or machinery, and leases it to the client for a fixed rental payment. Ownership may transfer at the end of the lease period. In essence, Islam's stance on loans and debt is a balanced system that promotes social and economic justice. It encourages helping one another through interest-free lending while imposing a solemn duty on the borrower to repay, all within a framework of compassion and flexibility for those facing genuine hardship.